Hi, my name is Jamie Massengale. You may know me as Massive J, your favorite WUSM radio host. I live in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and I'm a student at USM. I love talking to people, and I love to eat food. For this series, I'm going to be interviewing some of the interesting people that make Hattiesburg, well, Hattiesburg. I'll sit down with restaurateurs, politicians, coaches, comedians, and a whole lot more at local restaurants around town to sit down, talk, and have a bite. On this episode of Grub N The Hub, I sit down with Miles Doleac. Miles is well known in Hattiesburg for being an actor, producer, and director of films, but he is also a USM professor. We sat down at local Mexican restaurant Casa Jalisco to discuss his journey to becoming an actor and his involvement with the arts here in Hattiesburg. This is Grub N The Hub. So, you are an actor, and I've seen some of your work, and I really enjoy your work.
Thank you.
But tell me, how did you get into acting?
Well, it's something I've just been doing most of my life. Many people in Hattiesburg have heard this story, but when I was 6 years old, my dad took me to see Raiders of the Lost Ark at the old Hardy Street Cinema, home of the laser tag arena now.
Oh, wow.
And that was just one of those moments, kind of a Damascus Road moment for me at that young age, where my life was changed forever, and I knew I had to be a part of that world. Just so many opportunities, it never ceases to amaze me that a kid who had dreams of being in the movies had all these opportunities in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, in the deepest part of the Deep South. It's maybe antithetical to what I think a lot of folks think about what the culture and the art scene in the Deep South is, and that's one thing that I've always loved about my hometown, about Hattiesburg, is that there is an incredible art scene here.
Talking about Hattiesburg, I mean, is that kind of why you've stuck it out, because of all the talent that comes here in the art scene?
Well, yeah, I mean, initially it was this opportunity for something like a steady job at USM, and teaching is a profession that is incredibly noble and something that I also very much enjoy and that I very much believe in. And so I came back here to take a position at USM, and I was rather pleasantly surprised to find the art scene even better than when I left it. Strangely enough, at Hattiesburg High School, we did A Streetcar Named Desire. I played Stanley Kowalski my sophomore year at Hattiesburg High School. No high school should be doing A Streetcar Named Desire, by the way, but we were one of the lucky ones, and so it was this kind of combination of factors. I mean, it was inspiring to do Streetcar, and we took that one on the road to drama festivals, and I started reading more Tennessee Williams, and I learned more about Tennessee Williams, and I said, wow, look at this. Here is arguably the greatest American playwright, arguably, from Columbus, Mississippi, my home state, a gay man who, brought these beautiful, tragic, powerful works into the world. And so, I mean, I think I owe a lot to Tennessee as well. And I had parents, Larry and Renee Doleac, who were supportive of this stupid-ass dream, where a lot of parents, just shoot it down and say, oh, you want to be a what? No, we're not going to do that. And my dad is he's a contractor guy. He's a salt of the earth kind of electrician guy, you know, and I was working for him at Doleac Electric during the summers, and you know, and I just knew this is not who I am. I can't make this my life, and somehow he understood that, and he afforded me the opportunity to pursue the things that I really love. So,
you spent some time in Hollywood, and you said, I mean, I know it's a tough go out there.
Yeah.
I recently have gone back to revisit the show that I enjoyed that was on Starz for 2 seasons called Party Down, about caterers in Hollywood, and it always makes me laugh. I don't know, it's just because they're actors who are trying to make it in the biz, but they're working as caterers.
So I worked for probably what I would consider the apex catering company in Los Angeles at the time, and this would have been like the late 90s, early 2000s. It was just called Cater Crew, but we got all the gigs, man. I mean, we catered the Governor's Ball, the Academy Awards. We catered, you know, Sly Stallone's birthday party. You know, we catered a party for Don Rickles, and you know, we all of the sort of high end, you know, the Shishi Malibu parties, you know, with, you know, stars coming and going, and it is, I mean, that's the great conundrum, the great, you know, LA, you know, you constantly feel like you're sort of pounding nails into the concrete with your forehead, to borrow a term from Eric Bogosian, because you are this close to it all the time. And even when you're working a menial catering job, you're this close to it. You are at the Academy fracking awards, right? But, you know, you're serving coffee. Or you're at Stallone's birthday party, but you're, you know, opening his wine bottle, and, you know, he may or may not make eye contact with you or whatever. And so it is, I mean, and that I haven't seen that show, but I've heard about that show, and it's a brilliant premise for a show, because that's exactly what it's like. It's like, here we are, we're right here. There's Tom Hanks, you know, there's Steven Spielberg, but don't talk to him. You're a mere peon cater waiters. One of my fondest memories of that time, I got some extra work on Terminator 3, which is the bad Terminator movie, and meaning not very good. And I was upgraded to a stand-in for this actor, Mark Famiglietti, who was playing Claire Danes' fiance in the film, and he ultimately gets killed by the Christiana Loken character. And so we're shooting this big action sequence one day out at Hollywood Cemetery, and I get to sit under the cast tent because I'm a stand-in for one of the principal actors. And I hear this voice come up beside me and say, that's gonna be great for sound. Interesting reading material, and it's Claire Danes. And she sat down next to me and she talked to me for probably 45 minutes that afternoon, you know, just asking me who I was, what I was doing, what I was reading the book for. We talked about my classes at UCLA, and she treated me like like I was absolutely every bit as important as she was, you know, on that show, like a real human being. And I will never forget that. I will never forget that. And I've auditioned for Homeland about 15 times because I would love to get on that show and meet Claire again and say, Claire, on Terminator 3, you were awesome to me when you absolutely didn't have to be, because I was nobody.
Claire Danes, you're watching this.
You were awesome, Claire Danes.
Talk a little bit about your projects here, the movies you've made here in Hattiesburg. You started your own company, and tell me about some of the movies you've made here in Hattiesburg.
We started our own company called Historia Films. Historia in Greek means inquiry or investigation. It's the word that Herodotus used for his great work, the histories, and I wanted to make films that made people think, that had some social relevance, and maybe open some and change some hearts and minds. So we started with a film called The Historian in 2013. I was very fortunate on that film to be able to cast actors that I had no right to be working with at the time, like William Sadler and John Cullum. We have a team of people that we always work with, and that starts with Lindsay and the wonderful Wesley O'Mary, and our post team, Bradley Greer of Kyoto Color in New Orleans, and Jared Hollingsworth, y'all may know him, and John Vogel in New Orleans, who works on our sound. So we have a lot of amazing people that we have great, positive, productive working relationships with, and we keep coming back to the same people. We sort of created this cadre, of folks that we feel, that with our collective powers we can do most anything. And then the new one is Hallowed Ground. We shot it over the summer. We had less money than we've ever had before, but we're confident that we didn't have to sacrifice very much. It's maybe our most daring film. It's certainly the one where we were really sort of going for the jugular in terms of social impact. Our main characters are a lesbian couple. Hope Hattiesburg is ready for that. If they're not, too bad. They ought to be. So that one will be out next year. We've been very fortunate too to make a lot of short films. I think short films, for any independent filmmakers who are watching, short films are great practice. You can make a film that's 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, and hopefully it doesn't cost an arm and a leg, and you can sort of really hone your skills. And we've made several in the past few years, Handsome and Two Birds and Light and Shadow, and all of these are on Amazon, so you can check them out.
Don't watch Light and Shadow at work.
Yeah.
I did that. Don't do that.
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't. I mean, you make films for you, you make content for you, but you hope that it matters to somebody, or that it means something to somebody, that it moves somebody, that it changes someone's mind or opens someone's mind.
Well, I was going to ask, do you think I have the chops?
Right, and I mean, you'd have to do something for me. I don't know. I mean, I like your look, as I said. I like the beard. I like your physicality. But I'd have to see what you can do. With your voice and your presence and.
What do you want me to do?
I mean, do you know anything from Shakespeare?
I don't. It's getting late.
Well, I mean, you could just pull something up. Just pull up the first Shakespeare monologue that you find there on your phone, and let's see what happens.
Give me a second.
Okay.
How do you want me to read it? Is there
just whatever comes naturally? I mean, to me, that's what acting is about. It's who are you as an actor, just organically. Just what bubbles up to the surface. Just give me what bubbles up to the surface.
Okay. I've got one.
Okay.
I don't know what it's from.
Okay.
So don't judge me.
All right.
But judge me.
Okay.
Good Amir, do not be so bitter with me. I evermore did love you, Amir. Did ever keep your counsels. Never wronged you.
Can I stop you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you speaking in that accent?
Oh, I thought you wanted me to talk like Michael Caine.
I mean, why Michael Caine?
Because he's British. Is he British?
Yeah. But you don't have to do Shakespeare in a British accent.
Oh.
Right. Shakespeare is universal. It can be.
Okay.
So just whatever bubbles up to the surface, right? But it doesn't have to be British.
All right.
Just whatever.
All right.
Come on.
All right. Say that in love unto Demetrius. I told him in your stealth unto the wood.
What?
He
Excuse me. I'm sorry. What accent are you doing now?
I really don't know. I was just
Okay.
kind of Kiwi-ish, kind of. I don't know.
You don't have to do an accent. Just do you. Just do you. Who are you, Jamie? Give me you.
But he hath shied me, hints and threatened me, to strike me, spurn me, nay, to kill me too.
I think you're still doing an accent.
That's just me.
That's
me.
That's not how you're talking to me right now. That's not how you're talking to me right now. You're not saying, that's just me.
That's just... I can't do it.
Okay.
I'm out of here.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure anyway.
Yes.
Not everybody can be an actor.
Thanks.
I mean, just work on it. Work on it. Do you. Don't do Michael Caine. Do you.
Respect.
I believe in you, sir. I believe in you.
You always have to get the last word, don't you? All right. Well, this has been fun.
Indeed.
I appreciate you coming on an episode of Grub N The Hub and giving me some serious answers to my serious questions.
It's my absolute pleasure. I appreciate you asking me. I love what you're doing, by the way.
Well, thank you.
I love what you're doing. I mean, you're showcasing personalities and this talent that we've been talking about in Hattiesburg, and some awesome restaurants. Casa Jalisco, by the way, Casa Jalisco. This is the best Mexican food I've had anywhere. I mean, the margaritas here, the guacamole here, the service here. I mean, Michelle, Chewy, Gama, these folks are absolutely amazing. Every time I walk in here, I feel like family. So when Jamie asked me to do Grub N The Hub, I said, got to do it at Casa Jalisco. So thank you for what you're doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I'm going to eat a chip now.
Okay.